but it's just a little more important when you're going against these conference teams that have really good players. So, and scheme-wise, they're similar to several of the odd front teams that we've seen. Probably have a little bit more speed on the field. It's not as much size as far as overall people, but they're inside guys. Their 3 tackles are really big. Their nose is 6'3", 340-pound kid, hard to move, and both of their tackles are both 300 pounds. So it's 3 big bodies inside, and both are inside linebackers. One's, I think, 6'1", 250, and then 6'3", 245. So that's a lot of guys in there for 4 gaps. So you don't see a lot of guys just moving the ball on them. I thought Oak State did a really good job of running the ball. I think they rushed for close to 250 on them. So they had some things there that can be exploited. It's just we've got to go out and do the same thing.
You mentioned their size, and I asked Neil this. How do you deal with guys across the board probably bigger than every guy you got?
Yeah.
In length, too, how do you deal with it?
Well, you just got to do a really good job game planning and try to find, from a formation standpoint, angles. When you can't just come off and knock them backwards, you got to find angles, and you got to try to get the ball outside, and little things like that. Just what other people have tried to do to them, and but you got to, you can't just go in there saying it can't happen. You got to give it a shot. I mean, they did it last year, so they moved them off the ball pretty good. I've studied that film, pretty extensively, even though it's not the same people, it's the same scheme. But you gotta pick and choose when you're going to be able to come off the ball and try to get an angle on them and try to knock them down. And they do a really good job of moving the guys too. They don't just sit them in one spot. Like Kansas was more sit still. These guys move enough where you can't just assume where they're going to be. They move around enough where you got to account for the movement.
Well, I would guess in your past you've had experience dealing with that at Troy when you would go play non-conference games where you would deal with that. So you have experience.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach Brown and I working together as long as we have. We have experience in knowing like what you can do and what you can't do, and you can't do too much. That's the biggest thing. That's where we've made mistakes before. Is we try to do too much, too many good ideas, and then nobody's real certain what they're doing. So, that's the hard part for him is when we come up with all the ideas of narrowing them down to what we're actually going to do.
Is that the biggest challenge in an off week when you got 2 weeks to really think about how you're going to put together a
Yes,
plan?
you can't watch too much film. All of a sudden, you watch too much film, and you start trying to do too much. And the thing is that we've done this long enough where I don't feel like we're going to make that mistake again. Of course, you never think you are. You always think that you got it just right, and then you see how it works on Saturday, and you realize, hey, I had too much stuff in. So we are aware of that, and we're trying to avoid that.
But I'm sure in the back of your mind you're thinking, well, the other guys, what's he doing? What are they doing? That's always in the back of your mind.
Yeah, exactly. And it's usually the more talented that you feel like you are, the less stuff that you need to work on. But you got to know your deficiencies, and you got to just know what you can and can't do, and don't sit there and try to fit a round peg in a square hole. You got to make sure that you're doing things that your guys are successful at.
Matt, with all that's been going on with the switching around on the offensive line this year, haven't heard Kelby Wickline's name a whole lot. He's played almost all the snaps at right tackle. What have you seen at him?
He's been really consistent. He's been really coachable. He plays hard. He's been what I wanted him to be this year. That's the big thing is he hadn't graded out to the point where he's won the award but then again he hadn't been something that's really hurt us. So he's been consistent. And that's the biggest thing I ask from my guys. If an old lineman, if they never mention your name all season, you've had a pretty good season. If you can go through a whole season and nobody ever brings you up and you just do your job and your guy's never a problem, even though you may not get a whole bunch of pancake blocks, you can be a successful offense. So I talk to my guys all the time about just be consistent, be the same guy every day, and that's what Kelby's done. He's come out and he's done that. We just got to continue to do that and continue to stay on his technique and just try to get him a little bit better every week.
Matt, your process of addressing problems that you identified from the previous week, so you watch a video, then you go to the practice field, you have a certain number of reps you want to go through where it's clean before you think, okay, I've got this fixed. And do you ever come to some things that are, or something that says, hey, this just doesn't fit what we're doing, we've got to scrap that play or that technique?
As far as the O-line goes, the way we work our offense is we try to make the least amount of change with the O-line because, being a good O-lineman is just about doing the little things, attention to detail things, and doing them perfect every time and doing them over and over. And so we work fundamentals every single day. You come out there on Sunday, we practice, we're working fundamentals, we're in the chutes, we're on the boards, and it's every day we're going to do a certain amount of fundamentals every day. And so what you do is you try to keep these techniques and make them fit your schemes that you're wanting to run that week, so you're not constantly changing their footwork or their hand placement or their hat placement. So it's something that they're used to doing, because when you get down there and it's that hand-to-hand combat inside, you got to be really, it's almost like muscle memory is what you're trying to get to, where they can do it without thinking about it. And it takes a while. You can't get it done in a spring. You can't get it done in a fall. It usually takes at least a full spring and a full fall, if not another spring, to get these kids where, hey, they know what they're doing. They don't have to think about it. And so we're getting closer. We're getting better at that. But yeah, sometimes there's things where you just say, hey, this guy can't do that. So let's don't, maybe the guy on the other side can do it. So we run that scheme over here. The guy on this side, he just can't do it. He's not strong enough. He's not flexible enough. So you do that when you just see a guy that can't get it done, then you got to move on and go to something else.
As a coach, how did you handle Chase through the troubles he went to keep him with you and
the biggest thing with Chase, like every time he got demoted, whenever he lost the center job, and then whenever he didn't play much at guard, every time, and I do this with all my guys, I have a relationship with them off the field, and I just bring them in and say, hey, look, man, things like this happen sometimes. Who are you? Are you going to be the guy that's soft inside, that's going to just give up and woe is me and let everybody tell you how? Are you going to be the guy that's going to keep fighting and keep working and be that person that everybody wants to be? And that's what he's done. He's responded well. He kept battling. He never let up. He never felt sorry for himself. He kept preparing every week, even if he didn't play, and it's paid off. He's become a better player because of that. Him just refusing to give up and continue to work hard.
Matt, he'll be sort of emerged as a surprise star of last year's Texas game after the ejection in the first quarter. Any relevance to how he played in Austin last year against those guys?
He's got some history there. When his dad coached there, and he was down there for a little while, and I don't know how much that had to do with it. I think it's one of those things where he was thrown in the game, and I don't think he thought about it much. He just went down there and played. And then after the game, he was like, whoa, that was a pretty big deal. I got to go in and I got to play. But I think he grew a lot from that, and it's really helped him this year, being in that, and then playing the whole bowl game. So those 2 games, he played the whole game, and I think he's really grown from that, and it's really helped him this year being the starting guy over there.
I think your offense has 4 veteran running backs, but you really have only played 3 in any individual game. Is it just hard to get 4? Yeah,
it's really hard to get the reps, because you got so many formations and motions and protections, and it's not just hand the ball, you're running this or running. There's so many different things. We got burst plays, we got a lot of stuff that's memorization, and you can only put those things to memory when you do them over and over. So you just can't. It's so hard to get 4 guys reps. So that's kind of the way that thing's been handled.
Matt, you don't have your quarterback do what Texas quarterback does for a game, but it sounds like Neil, and I'm guessing you kind of feel like Austin's had some say in how well y'all run the ball lately.
Yeah, no doubt. He's just the biggest thing is he's been consistent with his reads. Whenever we ask him to read something and it gives him a pull read, he pulls it, and he's done a really good job of getting extra yardage. Did a really nice job in the Kansas game of making a guy miss, and I think he's getting more and more comfortable with that. And I don't think we're not going to line up and run quarterback power with him on short yardage. But then again, if the defense loses their integrity and tries to not play responsible football, he will make his read and he'll pull it and get us some extra yardage.
One of the things you're looking for in this game, they have given us some things in the pass game. Is it being able to take advantage of those things in the pass game? I know Neil mentioned that he wasn't really happy with the way the wide receivers played against Kansas. Is that going to be what it's going to boil down to? Can you take advantage of things in the pass game against them?
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to boil down to us being able to protect, all right, and us being able, when we run the ball, being positive yards. Not having lost yardage plays. A bad run's got to be 0. You know what I mean? So we've got to do a good job of not allowing run-throughs up front, not allowing penetration. If we block it for 3 yards, we need to get 3 yards from a running back standpoint. And we got to make some people miss at running back, and we got to, they did a great job last year. You watched the film last year; they broke tackles all over the place. We got to do that. We got to do that, and then in the pass game, when it's there, we got to hit it and we got to catch it. And we just got to make routine plays. And the receivers, like Coach Brown said, I think they're going to play a lot better this week, and we're going to make the routine plays, and that's what's got to keep us in the game. Get it down to the 4th quarter, and let's make it a fight.
Is it a message to the running backs not to hunt for the big runs? If you've got nothing, get nothing, and not take a big loss?
Yeah, because you see people against them that all of a sudden they want to try to run a little bit further, try to get around the edge a little bit, and then all of a sudden they're so fast you try to get around the edge, all of a sudden you lose 4 yards. When you were at a 1 yard gain, you know, you just got to stick it and keep that 1 yard gain. So that's definitely something that, you know, overall as running backs that we teach them, like, hey, if it's only blocked for 1, get at least 1, you know.
Their secondary is pretty beat up. If you've seen enough of the guys that are actually going to be playing to sort of know what their tendencies are.
Yeah, you know, the games where they got ahead and they brought some guys in the La Tech game, Rice game. You can see some of those guys play, but you know, you just never really know who's going to be out there. You know, you prepare for the best, and then just, you know, then you'll at least know if the other guys get out there, if the backups get in there, if they're starting, you're going to know something about them, and you're going to make sure you've studied them. So there's enough film on those guys that have seen them play.
And on downs that have mattered, when the game's on the line, where's their pressure come from? 4-man guys, or have they brought extra guys a lot? Or?
You know, 3rd and long, 4th and long, they'll bring more than you can block. They will bring more than you can block. But I think they've had maybe 3 of those this year so far. But they're more of getting pressure with their 3 inside guys, getting some bull rush, and then bringing the linebackers off the edge. You know, the edge guys can run pretty good. Their nickel and their wheel can run pretty good, or the rover, whatever you want to call it. So they try to get pressure with those guys off the edge. But I think a lot of the pressure comes from just the inside guys bowling and being able to get hands on and you know, just putting pressure on the quarterback from the standpoint of making him move out of the pocket. Not as much sacks as it is just making him uncomfortable.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank y'all.
Thanks.